Okay, so good afternoon, good morning, and good evening from wherever you are joining us from. My name is Anthony Akpaso, and this is the TONIPASH Sustainable Energy Talk, and it's being hosted by TONIPASH Energy, clean energy company in Nigeria. We came up with this in a way
Okay.
of
So, good
a way of
afternoon, morning,
and helping
good evening from
Africans and every other person in the world appreciate what clean energy can do for us. So today we shall be speaking and looking at waste, rethinking waste for a sustainable economy. And I want to welcome each and every one of us and also our panelists who have taken our time to be with us today. So I'll go straight to introduce this is the agenda for the day. I'll go straight now to introduce the panelists. The moderator of today, who is Babatunde Ahmad Sani. He's the CEO of Watowi Waste Management Company. And Watowi was founded by Babatunde Ahmad, who is an environmentalist, a physicist, poverty eradication and climate activist. He has a degree in physics from Caleb University and founded Watowi on the values of promoting sustainable development goals, goal one, no poverty, zero hunger, good health and well-being, quality education, and gender equality. And also SDG 6, which talks about clean water and sanitation, SDG 10, reduce inequality, and SDG 11, 12, 13, and 14, which all borders on life below water and responsible consumption. Babatunde has garnered relevant experience having worked in GMG Limited, Nigeria Gas and Steel Limited, and Alubarika Sani Industries at various supervisory and managerial roles. So we welcome Babatunde, who is going to moderate today's session. I would like to go back to, he will be the one to introduce other panelists when it starts, but just to run us through what we'll be doing today. The first presentation will start at 12:05. We'll start at 12:05, and also we'll have presentation too from Onoka Benjamin. The first poll will be by 12:35. The second one will be by 1:10 p.m. and also a presentation from Gideon, Albert, Michael Rada, and also Dr. Gamuchirai Mutezo. So we also have a Q&A session towards the end, and by 2 p.m. Nigerian time, we hope to have completed our activities for today. So I'll at this point hand you guys over to Babatunde, who is going to moderate the session, and I look forward to an engaging session. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Good morning. My name is Babatunde Sani, as Anthony has said, and I'm here to welcome you to the 10th edition of the TONIPASH Sustainable Energy Talk. Today, our topic will be rethinking waste for a sustainable economy, where we would have each panelist discuss different topics that border on this theme. And like Anthony has said, today we have Omo Alokwe, who is the co-founder and the CTO of Street Waste Company. She is based here in Nigeria. We have Albert Uma, who is the co-founder and technical director of ENAPRO Consulting. He is based in Kenya. We have Dr. Gamuchira Mutezo, who is the founder of Madam Waste. She's based in Johannesburg, South Africa. We also have Michael Rada, who is the inventor and developer, very interesting, by the way, of a waste prevention method called industrial upcycling. It's based in Czech Republic in Europe. We have Benjamin Onoka, who holds a BSc in chemistry and is a waste management specialist at SOS International LLC. He's based in Virginia, USA. We also have Gideon Fakolade, who is based in Lagos. Gideon is a passionate entrepreneur with experiences from construction, environmental services, and renewable energy services. Gideon is also an alumnus of LBS and the prestigious Tony Elumelu Entrepreneurship Program. So I say welcome to all our speakers, and we hope to pick your brains and educate some of our audience here. So let me give a brief introduction to what we do at Watowe. So it serves as a form of background for everyone else. So at Watowe Enterprise, we do a lot of impact work. We go to communities, especially rural communities, and we offer them in exchange for their waste, healthcare, affordable healthcare. We offer them affordable healthcare in exchange for their waste. So the goal of this initiative is not just provide healthcare, is to also push them to change consumer behavior. Because we believe, and we are still testing out the theory, that if we can change consumer behavior in these areas, it's going to be easier to change consumer behavior in the urban areas, especially here in Lagos. So far, so good. It's been awakening, establishing trust with these communities, collection and processing and all of that. But because of time, I would speak very, very, very little on that so that our speakers can share what they have to say for us today. So the first speaker of the day will be Omo Alokwe, who is the co-founder and CTO of Street Waste Company Limited. Hi, Omo, good morning.
Hello, Babatunde, good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Morning.
Is your presentation ready for us today?
Oh, sure.
Okay, so you could go ahead and we would have a lot of questions to ask you. That's why I'm moderating the time and reducing so that we could bombard everyone with the appropriate questions.
No problem. Okay, so I'll go ahead and share my slide. Okay. Just let me know if you can see my slide.
Yes.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you, TONIPASH Energy for this sustainable talk series and enlightening a whole lot of us about how we can change our attitude towards waste and achieving a sustainable economy. Yes, my name is Omo Alokwe and I am the co-founder at Street Waste Company. All right, so I will just briefly talk about waste, understanding waste, and also look at some statistics in Nigeria and why we actually really need to rethink about waste. All right. Okay. So waste from different parts. Waste is actually something that we generate every second, every minute, every hour. Even as we speak, I know a whole lot of us are generating waste. And with the population that is arising right now, we know that waste has become a global challenge or a global opportunity. Either way you look at it, waste has become something that we need to look into right now. So from different professionals and how they've got to understand what waste is, here on my slide, you could say that waste is a useless product of human activities that contains the same substance that are available in the useful product. This is by White et al. In 1995. Also, waste can be seen as any product or material which is useless to the producer. Now, from this definition, these are looking at it from the perspective of manufacturers. Now, waste by manufacturers, you know that if it's no longer useful to a manufacturer or a producer, you are going to regard that as waste. Also, to a manufacturer, waste can arise as a result of inefficiency in the production process. Now, when you want to produce, for example, I'm going to take a baker, for example, when a baker wants to produce a dough, if there is an inefficiency in that process, you could come across waste. You could come about waste. And if you cannot salvage the situation at that time, it becomes a waste to that producer or a waste to that manufacturer. Sometimes, especially confectionaries where they produce biscuits and the likes, if there is a waste in their production processes and they don't need that waste, it becomes a resource to someone else. It becomes a resource to a farmer that can use it as a feedstock to feed their animals. So at that particular point in time, to that manufacturer that is trying to make a dough from the production process, because of an inefficiency in the production process, it is a waste. But once it becomes a waste to that producer, it can be a resource or a value for another person, for another farmer or for another producer to produce feedstock. So I would say a substance can be regarded as waste to an individual, but can be a resource to another person. So either way you look at waste, it could be a challenge or it could be an opportunity. Yes, so it all depends on the perspective, on the way you look at waste. And that is why this theme is actually, it resonates with us a whole lot because of what we do as Street Waste Company. So I would say waste is not waste until you totally waste it. Waste is not waste until you don't see a value in it. Here, I'll talk about statistics. I'm going to take Lagos as a case study. So this statistics is coming from the Lagos Waste Management Authority. The World Bank, based on the World Bank statistics, an average individual generates 0.5 kg of waste in a day. Now let's bring it down to Lagos, Nigeria, looking at the average population of Lagos at 20 million, or looking at the average population of Nigeria at an average of 200 million. And the volume of waste we generate every single day. And you know, right, that we actually have challenges with infrastructures in waste collection. Where does all this waste end up? Most of the waste, the larger percentage of waste we generate are vegetables, food waste. And food waste gives an higher emission of methane gas. And this methane gas constitute the greenhouse gases that causes climate change and as well global warming, which is a global issue, a global concern as of today. This is one major reason why we need to rethink our attitude towards waste, the waste we generate and where it ends up. These are more numbers regarding the waste that is being generated. I think we've talked about 0.5 kilogram of waste of individuals being generated on a daily basis. The world generates an average of 2.0 billion tons of waste annually. So if you look at all these figures, especially in Nigeria, that we don't have that infrastructure to collect this waste, where do they end up? You see most of them in our drainages, clogging our drainages. What does that result into? When we have a clogged drainages, it results into flooding, and it also results into public health issues. Or does it end up in the ocean, where we are actually draining the lives of the marine animals there? So even as much as possible that the infrastructure is not there, I think we just need to keep telling ourselves how we need to rethink this waste and ensure that our waste is actually properly dealt with, properly disposed properly. And as much as possible, see ways to rethink and manage that waste. Okay, that takes me back down to my next slide. So we'll talk about the waste management hierarchy. This waste management hierarchy actually helps us to look at waste in a different light. What we can do, how we can do it, what step we need to take. So looking at this waste management hierarchy, we'll be looking at the 9 R's. From the refuse, rethink. I know there are a lot of R's. We have the 3 R's, 5 R's, but this is actually much more extensive up to the 9 R's. So looking at R0, R1, R2, that's refuse, rethink, and reduce. This is actually taking it from the perspective of the manufacturers. Like I actually defined the waste from the manufacturer's perspective, from the manufacturers, and the perspectives from the individuals. So from the refuse, manufacturers need to look for ways to refuse and cut down on products that are redundant, that are not useful. I would actually take, for example, a manufacturing company that maybe manufactures a phone and a radio. So why do I need to have a radio and a phone if my phone has the function of a radio? So at that point in time, that radio is redundant because the phone has the radio, the functions of the radio it needs, and I take my phone everywhere I need to go. So at that point in time, there's the way that manufacturers need to cut down and refuse and abandon some things in their manufacturing process. They also need to rethink the product's design that they go about doing. Talking about, for example, taking a PET bottle, for example. We have companies that are redesigning the PET bottle to look at how to reduce the amount of virgin plastic in it and see how to make their PET bottle maybe contain 30% recyclable, 30% or 70% virgin material. There's a way they need to rethink that process. Also, the inefficiency that comes from the production process that helps generate waste, there's the need for us to reduce it. So when we talk about manufacturers, we don't only talk about the big manufacturing company. As little as that confectionery by the side of the road, as little as that pure water manufacturing business, as little as our kitchen, there's a process. We need to look at ways to make what we produce smarter to reduce the amount of waste. Now, going from the R3 down through to the R7, these are looking at ways to extend the lifespan of a product. For example, I'm going to start maybe with the use of a shoe or a tire. So if I have a pair of shoes and I no longer need them, that doesn't mean that somebody else does not have a need for them. So we can have somebody else reuse that pair of shoe. In that way, you're not creating a waste, or you're not generating a waste. You're still extending the lifespan of that product for another consumer to use. So we have repair, or okay, fine, I have this shoe, I need to fix it so that I don't generate waste from it. We can actually repair it, or a furniture or a cloth. So we need to look at ways to repair things and also maintain it. There's also the aspect of refurbish. For example, I know we tend to do that a whole lot in Nigeria when we talk about refurbish, especially for electronic items. So we need to look at ways to refurbish things. There are different innovative ways that comes from refurbishing, even when we upcycle tires, remanufacture, repurpose. So come down to the last 2 hours, and that's the recycle and recover. So at this point in time, I would like to talk about what we do at Street Waste Company. We actually enable post-consumers. We engage individuals.
Please, you have 5 more minutes. Thank you.
Thank you, Babatunde. So we enable post-consumers, we engage individuals through our community recycling system. And how do we do this? We create community recycling hubs in different community. As of today, we have 3 community recycling hubs. We come closer to the post-consumer because then we give them value in exchange for their waste, and what we call the waste for income model, where at the end of the month, post-consumers can be able to generate an alternative source of income from their everyday waste. And when they see value in their everyday waste, they go ahead and sort their waste. So instead of discarding it inappropriately, instead of throwing it off, they go ahead and we give them that opportunity to, recycle it, create something out of it. And then they go ahead to sort their waste into different waste streams, the PET bottles, the pure water sachets. And at the end of the month, they're able to generate an alternative source of income for themselves to be able to do what they want to do with it, buy foodstuffs, get the books for the children, and all that. So with our community recycling initiative, yes, we are able to create value for post-consumers where they're able to get incentive in exchange for their everyday waste. And we're able to create jobs for people within that community. Women, youth, they're able to create jobs through our process. Also, they are also sure that these PET bottles that get to us, or the recyclables that get to us, ends up with processors and manufacturers that are able to use this as a resource to produce something new. So in that way, we are able to help enhance the circular economy. We are able to help create a sustainable economy whereby manufacturers don't have to go get virgin materials for their processing anymore. They're able to conserve resources at the long run. So thank you so much. You can actually be a part of what we do as Street Waste Company and reach out to us on all social media. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was a very beautiful presentation.
Thank you.
I was muted so you could have your ground. So Omar, we shall be taking questions from you, from the audience, after everyone has presented.
All right,
so
great.
Because of time, we'll go to our next speaker. Our next speaker is Albert Umar. Albert is here all the way from Kenya. Like I said previously, Albert is the co-founder and technical director for ENAPRO Consulting.
Hello, can you hear us? Babatunde, can you hear us?
Yeah. Oh,
Okay.
yes, I can.
Okay, I think we skipped uh, Benjamin. Benjamin from the schedule. I don't know if you can glance at it.
Oh, yes, so Benjamin Onoka.
Okay.
Benjamin will be speaking to us this afternoon.
Hello, Benjamin. Can you hear us?
Hello, I can hear you, but the network seems to be not that so good from your end. Maybe.
Yeah, you can go ahead, please. Thank you.
Okay.
Hello, Benjamin.
Yes, I can hear you. Let me try to share my screen. Hello, you can hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, I'm trying to share my screen, but it's like it's not coming in. I don't know what's the problem.
Okay. Let me see if I can help you from here.
Or can I share the document over there?
Yeah, you can. We can share from here.
Let me share to your email.
Okay.
Okay.
So maybe
Sharing now.
Babatunde, yeah. If Daniel is ready or Bakolade, we could take him just because of time. Then when we get his presentation, he can take over later.
Okay, thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
All right. Where I am currently, my internet actually, so I just have to I'd like to request to have access to my presentation. Go ahead and share. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is value addition, recyclable waste, particularly the common waste that has to do with food and beverage packaging containers that we see all around us that are in guns. And instead of crushing them, the kind of value we can derive from them, from the home, from the office, or the run at a restaurant or a center, or the run at a hotel, or even from religious purposes centers, derive lots of value.
Ian, we cannot hear you. It's really very fuzzy.
Is it better now, please?
Yeah, it's a bit better. It's better now.
It's better now, right?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. Please, if you're able to share my screen, I will appreciate that. I'm on mobile now. I switched from laptop to telephone because of the network.
Okay.
Are you able to share?
No. We've not gotten your presentation yet, sir.
Let me find.
Okay, I think Benjamin is ready now. While we also wait for
Yes.
faculty to come on, we can continue with Benjamin. So Benjamin, you can go ahead, please. Thank you.
Okay. Have you found the document I've sent you on your email, on the organization's email?
Yes, I've seen it. I've seen it. I'm sharing it right away.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm Benjamin Onoka from Kenya, and thank you very much for this invite to speak in such a auspicious event. Or so today, I think we are discussing about rethinking waste. Rethinking waste. The theme of the discussion is rethinking waste for a sustainable economy. But I'm going to break it down and go to one topic, the pollution and waste minimizations. So as we all know, waste minimization and pollution prevention is a collective responsibility where everyone has to be involved. It's basically providing everyone with an opportunity to be environmentally responsible by creating an awareness, trainings, and things of the sort. So pollution prevention is basically the use of materials, processes, and practices that reduces or eliminate waste at the point of generation. You can hear me?
Yes, we can hear
Yes,
you.
we can. Yes, Benjamin.
Yes, while waste minimization is the feasible reduction of the hazardous waste that is generated prior to treatment, storage, or disposal. And sustainability, as you can see from the slide, is the act of meeting our own needs without compromising the ability of the future generations. Like doing things which will not compromise the future generations. We take care of the environment, like Bill Nye always opines. We have to leave the world a better place than we found it. And for us to do this, we have to sometimes pick the other people's trash. So this has been my motive, my inspiration. So before I go to what we have adopted as a company, my company is mandated by the U.S. government to work on waste management within the U.S. Embassy, which is in Baghdad. So we are responsible for the management of the waste over here and keeping the environment clean. So we have adopted several techniques to help us achieve this, because we are always on check by the government to ensure that we are efficient and effective in the mandate and the duties we are given over here. So we have substituted we are for doing the cleanings, we have resorted to using the less toxic cleaning agents. Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you. Benjamin, we can hear
Yes,
you.
we are resorting to use of the less toxic cleaning agents as opposed to the toxic ones, like the bleach. These are the cleaning agents for cleaning the bathrooms. Because once these cleaning agents, the strong agents are used, they are all go into the mainstream, like the sewer line. This will end up somewhere, which will end up compromising the environment. So we are resorting to use of the less toxic ones, which can be less harmful to the environment when exposed or when released to the environment. Again, we are also resorting to offering several trainings to the clients and our staff on the good and the better ways of handling waste, collecting waste, and also sorting. Yes. The third one, we have established a sorting site. Having in mind, basically, if I can elaborate over here, we are also handling the collection and sorting, the installation part of it. In that we have set up the sorting places where the hazardous material, the hazmats, are being sorted out, like the electronic wastes, the batteries, the used oils. All these are sorted together, and they're documented before they are being disposed. And they are disposed in accordance with the government procedures, set procedures. So we have resorted to establish a sorting site where the wastes are sorted out, the organic, the plastics, the papers, all these are sorted out before they get disposed. Again, we have also implemented the use of emails and encourage paperless communications. This one has enabled us to save on this saves cash for the company for buying the printing materials, and also it saves on the papers which are disposed in the environment. As you know, all this accumulates and become huge waste. So those are the things we have implemented over here, and we are keeping. You can hear me?
Yes, we can. Go on,
Yes,
please.
we can.
Yes. So those are the things we have implemented over here at our company, and they're helping us to keep the environment clean. And we have to be responsible for everything we are doing on a daily basis, since we have to comply with the government regulations on the waste management and disposals. Maybe if you can project the next slide from.
Hi, Anthony, can you share the next slide?
No, you can go back.
Please.
Yes. So we have also implemented the following techniques to minimize the waste disposal. We are encouraging the use of reusable bottles and plates over here, because we are in a war zone country, and everything we are offered like the foods we take from the main DFAC or the mess. So earlier on we were using the disposable plates. We realized that this would accumulate and would lead to a lot of waste, because after every meal they get disposed. So the company came up with a policy on insisting on using the reusable bottles and plates. This has saved the company a lot of money, like in buying the plates, the disposable plates. So now this money is saved and it's used on other developments or other other sectors which might require this cash. Number two, we have also completely banned the use of polythene bags. As you are aware, polythenes are non-biodegradables, and this ones, once a lot of them are disposed in the environment, they end up clogging the drainage system. Once they're in the drainage system, they end up being driven all over to the large water bodies, which is harmful to the environment and to the animals. So we have completely banned it over here at the embassy, where we don't use the polythene bags. We are encouraging people to have a oven or like in Africa we call them chiondo. This one for going to the shopping, to minimize the use of polythene bags. Again, we have also
We can hear you, Benjamin.
yes, you can hear me.
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Yes, as I said earlier, we also established the sorting sites for the separation and grading of the waste. The organic waste, you realize that they can be used in production of manure. And over here, we are using this so the company is not spending money to buy the manures for planting maintaining the flowers over here and planting the trees. So we use the locally made manures from the organic waste over here. You can go to the next slide.
So, hi Benjamin.
Yes.
So can you please round up because of the time, so that we could take
Yes, I'm almost finishing.
Okay.
Yes. So I'm at the point where how is this useful or helpful to the economic sustainability? Basically, pragmatically, whenever less is spent on collecting the waste and energy is saved, this will translate to more money being put in provision of quality life, like for example, in a country. You get me? Like, for example, in a country that spends less money on collecting waste, where waste are managed properly, the energy is saved. The energy like the lighting system, they're using solar. They are going green, and this will translate to more money being put on provision of quality life. Whenever there's quality life, this translates to good health, and whenever there's good health, there's higher production or higher productivity. With the saying health is wealth, a conserved environment, less of waste and pollutions, as a healthy workforce, which translates to high productivity. So this you realize that once waste are managed properly, like there's no disposals, this the gases released to the environment are compliant with the government regulations, or compliant are safe for the human and the animals, the birds. People will live quality life. Whenever there's quality life, there's high productivity. Whenever there's high productivity, the economy is sustainable and it keeps growing. And I think that answers coincides well with the theme of today, rethinking waste for a sustainable economy. In that waste can help propel the country's economic growth. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for that, Benjamin. That was a very beautiful presentation. And meanwhile, the poll has been shared. Please, can you fill the poll, everyone? A poll has been shared for everyone to fill. So far, we have most of us are from Africa. We are joining from Africa. Most of us are male. Okay, there are a lot of first timers in here too. I hope you guys are enjoying the session. And there are a lot of youths. Okay, we have a few students, and please, if you haven't filled the poll, kindly fill it so we'll continue the session. So Benjamin, questions will be asked for you. I'm sure some of our audience have questions for you as regarding the good work you guys are doing in Iraq and in the US. So we'll go to our next speaker, who will be talking about waste to wealth, value addition approach from Treasure Limited. Hello, Gideon.
Okay, thank you very much. I strongly hope the internet is better now. Right?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. I'm going to try to share my screen.
So while Gideon is sharing the screen, a brief background on Gideon. Gideon is a passionate entrepreneur with experiences from construction, environmental services, and renewable energy services.
Please, I need
Gideon,
permission to share my screen.
your screen hasn't come up yet, Gideon.
Disable participant screen share.
Check it. Check it for you.
Hi, Gideon. If you can hear us, your screen hasn't come up yet.
I'm sorry, I have to, please check the audio. You can see where my voice is coming from. I think you need to make that an host. The other one, I'm unable to use that device, so I'm going to log out from that.
Okay.
Okay, yes, I can share now. Thank you. Please let me know when you see my screen.
Yes, loading. Yes, we can see your screen.
All right, thank you very much. Sorry about that. So thank you, everyone. My name is Gideon. I'm from the Treasure, and we make recycling services inclusive and more accessible to users at the community level. And we are interested in the economic value of waste. There are so many persons who are interested in benefiting from waste, but unfortunately, because of the logistics problem, and also the fact that many people look down on persons who are involved with recycling, not so many people are currently practicing recycling. Based on available data from United Nations Environment Program, we are able to establish, and UNEP actually have the data on their website, and they confirm that in Nigeria, less than 10% of recyclables, in particular plastics, plastic bottles, and so on, food beverage packaging containers, 9.2% is still being recovered for recycling. And that's not a pass mark, if you ask me. That means we still have a long way to go. And to be able to achieve what Y number, for example, countries like India are already doing over 60%, and they are still hungry for more. We want to do more, right? But in Nigeria, we are still doing less than 10%. And for us to increase this number, actually, we need to actually get more people on board. And to get more people on board, that's why we are committed as the Treasure. Our goal and objective is to help people to see the benefits in recycling. Not only that, to also help people to find it convenient to recycle, okay? And like I said earlier on, the rate of recycling is still far less than 10%, all right? We still have situations where over 90% is still being incinerated, clogging the water bodies and the public drains, and constituting nuisance and so on. The problem of logistics actually is something that is worrisome. I'll play a short video, 2 minutes 38 seconds, for you to actually see what the solution story is about, and shortly we'll be able to see.
Sorry, Gideon, just to be sure, is the video on mute? Or is there no sound on the video? Hello, Gideon.
Hello?
Sorry, if you can hear me, is the video supposed to be on mute, or is there a sound to the video? Because we can't hear anything.
You said?
I said the video, we can't hear anything from the video. Is it supposed to be on mute? There's no sound coming from the video.
Okay, I think, let me check my settings and include the audio, please. Sorry about that.
Okay. Oh, don't worry. Just play the video. Don't worry. I think it's
It's
from
just
Zoom.
music. It's just background music. It's not.
Yeah, no sound. Don't worry. We don't need sound. Don't worry. Just keep.
Okay, you couldn't get the sound.
Yeah.
Please. Okay, thank you very much. And so I go quickly to speaking to what we do, why we do it, and how we do it. So at Retreasure, we are bridging the gap in the recycling loop. It's obviously because of the huge gap that the logistics problem and also the high cost, both economic and environmental costs that it takes for people to actually get recyclable waste back into the recycling value chain. That's why so many persons are not recycling. Okay, and that's where we come in. We are bridging the gap, and then how we do that is by providing scalable and efficient special purpose recovery infrastructure. We call those recycling kits. We provide that for recyclers in emerging markets, including large-scale recyclers as well as small-scale recyclers. So if you consume content from packaging waste and you throw them away before, you are a potential user of this platform, you can benefit from this platform, and we can do a whole lot of good together. All right, so our solution basically is that we are taking recycling waste recovery to a scalable level and efficient level by providing these recycling kits that connect community users from restaurants, from hotels, from event centers, from conference centers, from homes, from offices, from religious centers, where you consume content from packaging waste. We will connect you directly to recyclers. We are rerouting recyclable waste from going to landfill. We are preventing them from going to incineration. We are preventing them from going into public drains, into oceans, into water bodies, directly into the recycling value chain. All right. And what is it we offer? Basically, we offer our recyclers as partners. We offer them the crates, right? So I'll tell you a little bit about the crates shortly. We offer them the crates. We offer them the smart wagon, right? And we also offer them access to the digital platform. And then in addition to that, we offer operators training. We offer franchise support, and then we're also committed to the routine maintenance of the recycling kits. Okay, so quickly about this crates. So this crate is a recyclable collection bag that is furnished with unique identifier for personalities or entities who are registered on our platform. It also, in addition to get the register free of charge on our platform, they get 2 crates actually. The purpose is so that when one crate is in transit, the other can continue to be used to separate recyclable source from the source. Okay. So the name crates is coined from crates. You know what the bottling companies use the crates to achieve, right? When our drinks come in breakable and returnable bottles, they use it to control the to and fro journey of their packaging containers. But sad today because bottling companies are no longer in control of what happens to the bottles. And that's the solution we're providing. This crates now, the S in front of crates represents source separation so that people can separate recyclables from source and sell it on our platform. So they also get, in addition to getting to crates, users also get near field communication cards that give them access to the wagon, and then that also captures the data on inventory, on timing, and also the identities of the users. The crate collects food and packaging containers such as PET bottles, polyethylene terephthalate for bottled waters, and also drinks, aluminum cans, pure water sachets, styrofoam, and Tetra Pak. And it's in such a way that it allows for standardization of measurements with allowable variances for when it's collecting PET bottles, collecting 5 kilograms plus or minus 0.5. So it's easy for the user to move around and also to remit into the wagon that is closest to them. When it's carrying aluminum can, it's collecting 9 kg plus or minus 0.5. And when they're collecting pure water sachet, it's collecting 15 kg plus or minus 0.5. Without much ado, I talk to you quickly about the wagon. So the smart wagon, which we also call the recovery wagon, it facilitates a seamless bulk collection of recyclable waste. It collects 32 crates every trip. Okay. And it has a weight sensor, it has a card reader, and it has a communication system. It works in such a way that the recycling partner that is covering a particular geography on our platform, that recycling partner will be receiving communication from the wagon. When a user goes to remit the crates containing the recyclable waste inside the wagon, the user taps in the card. The communication system on the wagon captures the time, captures the current contents. The weight sensor captures the current content of the wagon, captures the identity of the user. When the user is done remitting and is tapping out, closing the wagon, the remittance window, the weight sensor captures the new weights, the contents, weight of the content of the wagon. The weight difference is what the user has successfully sold or remitted via the wagon. The user will be able to see the credit in escrow, but will be unable to spend their money until he or she has been verified or validated by the recycler. The reason for that is because some persons are dubious. They may want to add impurities like water or stone or something to the weight content so that they can have higher weight. So we will be able to track whosoever attends that via that. And there's a penalty for whosoever the recycler puts a red flag on that is discovered to come up with such a practice. There will be 30% deduction from their earnings on that particular transaction. Okay, and then without much ado, the third component is the digital platform, right? People can access this via the USSD routes and also via the application routes, right? People can sign up, they can accumulate their earnings, and they can claim their reward. Their reward can come in form of cash. There is a minimum payout for cash, right? And there's they can redeem it to airtime, and they can use it to pay for utility bills, and then they can also use it to redeem it in time in form of household appliances, right? In addition to that, users can also use it very soon. Users in Lagos in particular will be able to use it to board transportation, to take BRT buses, to take railway bus train, to be able to also board last one. So that's in the work. So this is what the user journey map and looks like, right? Because of time, I won't be able to go through everything. But basically, it's a closed loop that's as against the open loop of recyclables, creating nuisance in our environment. All right, so maybe you're interested in what the numbers looks like. So this is what the numbers look like. The wagon actually can deliver recyclable content to our recycling partners in commercial areas, 2 to 3 trips every day, right? But for residential areas, it may take maximum of 72 hours, 3 days before the trip is completed, all right? And this data also shows to us that in addition to solving the logistics problem, our platform is also able to return higher profits potential to the recycler than the old open traditional model, which is not efficient, right? On our platform, recyclers on our platform are able to earn on the average of about 49% return on investment of their total material cost. on our platform. Okay, and so maybe also asking, what does it take for us to onboard a user or a recycler? Rather, for users, it's free of charge, right? Just needs to be under the coverage of coverage of one of the recyclers on our network. So once we are under the coverage of one of the recyclers on our network, for recyclers on our network to be onboarded, right? It just costs a subscription fee of only 5,000 naira, right? That's about $900 to get onboarded on our platform. And when a recycler is onboarded on our platform, they get access to one smart wagon, 64 crates, and all the other accessories. Okay, in addition to that, they have access to recover recyclables in bulk. We also offer operators training and also routine maintenance. The subscription fee can be split into installments of 3 months or 6 months. And it's important to also note that the higher the number of sets of recycling kit sets, the higher the discount that's obtainable on our platform, right? And I don't know, maybe it's time for question and answer, or perhaps there will be a general time for question and answer later on. Thank you very much for your audience. I will be happy to.
Sorry, Gideon. You skipped a page before the last one. I think you skipped a page. Go back to pages if you can. Gideon, can you hear me? Hi, Gideon.
Hello.
Yeah, I think you skipped 2 pages before the end.
Okay. I think I was
before this. Yes, this one.
Okay,
no.
This one. I went
the next
to this.
one. No,
Okay,
the next one.
All right. These are next steps for. All right. Okay. So basically, for anyone interested on getting on our platform to join our recyclers network, these are the next steps. So there is a subscription form that will be completed, and on that form, there are some information that we require to evaluate a potential recycler on our network, because when we say recycler, there are minimum qualifications, right? When I say qualification, I don't mean academic qualification. I mean in terms of capacity, right? So it's not just only the money, right? You have to be able to identify strategic locations within your geography where the wagon can be sited. You don't need the big space for the wagon, actually. The wagon is only 8 feet wide and 10 feet long. So the franchise program run in a similar model, like what's the fast food small chops outfit runs, whereby they site small containers within filling station, small containers within hotels, within event centers. So similarly, this wagon can be sited within a small space in a filling station, within a small space, within a hotel, within a restaurant, within a eatery, within an event center, within a dedicated space, within a community. All right. So if you're able to identify such locations, those are some of the information that will be provided on the expression of interest or subscription form. After you have completed the expression of interest or subscription form, you're going to receive an evaluation report from our team within 10 working days. If the result is positive, then we are going to proceed with you to stage 1 of the commissioning process. We are going to be conducting the site visits, backed up with pictures and videos of your space. And also, we'll be doing stage 2 commissioning after that, which is the training. So we are doing something fantastic on this training. We are integrating the people currently that today that are known as waste pickers. People look down on them so much, but with our solution now, we are dignifying what they do, because these are actually champions of the environment. They should be honored, they should be respected. So on our platform, we are offering them training that will dignify what they do today, to be able to do it in a better way. And we are going to be attaching them to the recyclers in our network, on our platform. So they will be able to earn dignifying and rewarding income doing what they do before, doing it in a better way. Okay, after that now, there was stage 3 of the commissioning, which is the signing off on the franchise agreement, and then operations can commence, and thereafter, both parties, all the parties involved, can then begin to smile to bank every now and then. All right, thank you very much. I hope I've been able to do justice to that.
Thank you so much, Gideon. That was a Personally, I have some questions, but we'll attend to that after everyone has presented. So to speed up, I think we should go to the next speaker, who will be speaking on reducing energy waste through increased efficiency, a pathway to energy access. Our speaker today shall be Albert Umar. Albert is the co-founder and technical director for ENA Pro Consulting, and Albert is speaking all the way from Kenya. Hello, Albert.
Hello, Batunde, how are you?
Yeah, I'm fine. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
So you have the floor, Albert.
Thank you. So I'll share my screen. Let me put on my video so you can see me.
Yes, you can see your screen now.
Yeah, you can see it now.
Yes.
Thank you. Yeah, so thank you
sorry.
for
Sorry, Albert. Before you go on, I discovered that the poll that we ran wasn't. Not everybody participated. So we'll quickly, for the next 3 minutes, relaunch the poll, this first poll, so that people can participate before we move to the next one. So please just go to, if you are using your system where you have more icon there, just quickly tap on it. You'll see a poll. When you click on it, it's going to launch, and let's quickly answer the questions as fast as we can so that we can move to the next speaker, please. Thank you. See, 3 people have 4, 5, 6. We are moving 7, 11 so far. Let's go ahead. 15, 38. Yeah, so the results of this poll will be shared across to everyone when as we are sending out the results, the report of this event, we are going to share it to everyone. So far we have 21 out of 38. That means we still have 17 or so who have not responded. I don't know if that's all. Okay, so that we don't keep our presenter waiting, we'll just stop for now. Maybe when we are taking the next poll, we'll get more participants. Thank you very much. You can go ahead now.
Thank you. Yeah, so I'll speak on the topic for today, which is reducing energy waste through increased efficiency, a pathway to energy access. I don't know why the screen is not responding. Yeah, so you can see it now?
Yes, we can see introduction, opportunities, policy, and conclusion.
Yes. So I'll take you through the contents. Of course, I'll introduce myself and the company I work for, and talk about some energy efficiency opportunities that deliver results, energy performance results, and then I'll talk about some policy interventions, government by various governments, or the approach they need to take, and then I'll conclude with the next steps and probably a case study, and maybe later on you can ask some questions. So about myself, of course, my name is Albert Ouma. I'm an engineer, chemical and process. I hold various certifications. in energy management. Normally, I prefer calling myself energy efficiency advisor or specialist. So I have done various certifications in that space to enhance my knowledge in that field, as you can see listed, both internationally and also in Kenya. I'm also an award winner, Energy Manager of the Year for the Sub-Saharan African region by the Association of Energy Engineers. So that's about myself. About Enapo Consulting, of course, is an energy engineering firm, engineering and consulting firm based here in Kenya. We are a subsidiary of Kawi Energy Group based in the United States. We offer advisory and consultancy in energy engineering services relating to energy efficiency, renewable energy, and of course, training. We've done some work for various clients as listed below. So I'll go straight to some definitions. Of course, those who have not interacted much with, this energy, you hear people talking about energy, energy efficiency, energy management, energy conservation, and probably they don't know what it means. So these terms basically are just meant to enlighten all of us, assuming we are coming from different backgrounds. And so this opportunity is for us to appreciate, what we are talking about.
Like this is life.
Thank you. Yeah, so of course, as you can see from the term energy management, basically engineering and economic principles to control cost of energy in providing services in buildings and industries. Energy efficiency, of course, whenever you're talking about efficiency, excuse me, you are basically looking at what is going in and what is coming out. So whenever what is coming out is moving closer to, whenever what is coming out is moving closer to what gets in, then your efficiency is high. So when whatever is getting in is far much farther from what is getting out, then of course your efficiency is low. So that is the same as energy, the same with energy, and of course the ratio of the output and the input gives you the efficiency. When you talk about conservation, of course, you're preventing wasteful use of energy. Energy performance, of course, is to do with results, measurement of results relating to energy efficiency, which we've already described. Renewable energy, we've heard people talking much about, renewable energy, clean energy and stuff. So renewable energy is energy from a source that is not depleted when used, such as wind, solar, and of course, we have quite a number of renewable energy sources. Energy conservation measures, these are measures that are aimed at reducing energy consumption. They can either be energy they can either be through energy efficiency and of course through energy conservation, which we've already defined. Energy policy from an organization on its overall intention is a statement from an organization on its overall intentions and directions relating to its energy performance as expressed by top management. We'll talk a little bit more about that in our next slides. Of course, energy objectives, specified outcomes or achievements set to meet organization's energy policy relating to improve energy consumption. And finally, energy management system is a set of interrelated or interacting elements to establish policy and energy objectives and processes and procedures to achieve those objectives. It involves developing and implementing an energy policy, setting achievable targets for energy use, and designing action plans to reach them and measure progress. So of course, we know that energy efficiency, when you want to reduce waste or energy consumption, we are looking at the context of various organizations or facilities or companies consuming this energy. So either it's a manufacturing facility or it's a building, it's an hotel, it's a school, it's a college, it's a flower farm, it's an hospital. So we are looking at it in the context of institutions, organizations. So each organizations, of course, we have top management or the leaders of that organization. So when you want to institutionalize for energy efficiency or management to be effective, then it needs to be institutionalized within that organization. So how do you do that? Of course, the top management has a role to play. And one of the roles is that they need to formulate and implement an energy management policy. And then secondly, there need to be an energy management committee. Of course, in organizations, you find there are various committees established by top management, depending on their goals or how they operate. So there needs to be an energy management committee established by top management. And then there needs to be an energy management policy. Of course, organizations have various policies like, HR policy, ICT policy, risk management policy. So there are various policies in an organization. And therefore, for energy management to be effective, then an energy management policy should be in place. Then the committee needs to have its terms of reference, who is appointing it, who is the chairman, who is the secretary, how frequently do they meet, how many members, how do they arrive at decisions, and things like that. So that is contained in their terms of reference. And then that terms of reference is approved by top management. And then the top management allocate resources, both financial, human resources, and technological. Then they set objectives and targets to be implemented. So once the top management support in that regard, then you are institutionalizing the energy management or energy efficiency. So I talked about energy management policy, we defined it. So for you to develop it, of course, various stakeholders needs to be involved in the preparation of the draft, and they need to sign it and own it. And then that policy, once it is in place, should be communicated to all staff. And then you need to prepare an energy policy statement. So of course, normally in organizations, there are various policy statements: health and environment policy, quality management policy, safety policy. So same with energy management policy. There needs to be a statement framed and put in strategic places as a demonstration of commitment from the organization. Of course, in the policy, you need people probably called energy management champions that will help you champion the various energy management programs and practices in whatever localities. If you have various facilities spread across probably your region, then there's someone responsible for that. Then, of course, those energy management champions should be trained. I talked about the Energy Management Committee and developing its TOR and how they meet and stuff like that. So I'm not going to repeat on that. Then you need to, as a way of institutionalizing energy management, you need to review your processes. Of course, when you consume your energy at the end of the month or week, depending on the frequency of billing, you receive a bill. So are you reviewing, how you're paying this? Are they getting confirmed? Because utility operators have a way of sometimes taking advantage of consumers. So you need to review processes of electricity payments to ensure they are done correctly and accurately, and you don't overpay. You need to look at how you purchase diesel. I know, for example, in Nigeria, there's a lot of diesel use. So you need to review the process of diesel purchase. Probably water. If your organization is using a lot of water, you need to also review the process of water purchase, storage, and usage, and also the maintenance schedules and procedures. And finally, of course, procurement manuals. Whenever you're buying equipment or any appliances, then they have to meet certain criteria in terms of the energy performance.
Sorry, Albert, you have 5 more minutes.
All right. Then, of course, there's the aspect of energy audits. You need to carry out energy assessments to understand where your gaps are. Of course, just like you do financial audits, you see where you're doing the wastages, and when you review that, the report will have recommendations, and then you're able to, take necessary steps to reduce those wastes. Energy conservation measures, we talked about reducing wastage. You switch off stuff, introduce controls, for example, lighting controls, to switch them off whenever you're not using them, and so on and so forth. In buildings, of course, we have various aspects, things consuming energy, lighting, heating, ventilation, air conditioning, appliances. So basically, you need to ensure that you install more efficient equipment, be it lighting, be it air conditioning, be it appliances, and then you match usage to requirements to ensure that you are not doing a lot of work for simple things. So if you need to cool, for example, a room, you just install as per the design requirements. You don't put lots of it, because the more you install, the more you consume energy. Of course, for industrial consumers, there are various equipments consuming energy in an industrial setup: compressed air, HVAC, boilers, motors and pumps. So basically ensuring that you, in an industry, you have more efficient motors and pumps. They have what is called now the latest technologies, VSDs, for controls, compressed air. You seal the leaks, use more efficient ones. For HVAC, heating, ventilation, air conditioning, that we've talked about. For boilers, starting from the boiler fuel and stuff like that. I'll not go so much into the technical detail, but basically ensuring that there's efficiency in all the machines using energy. So I'm not going to repeat on that. We've talked about diesel management. In terms of water management, of course, water harvesting is very important. To know, for example, industrial or in a building, you harvest water for cleaning and stuff like that. That will reduce on your the bills that you incur in terms of water consumption. You review the billing and develop guidelines for water management. Of course, staff needs to be trained. The energy committee needs to be trained. Energy champions need to be trained. The technical staff, procurement staff, and other staff that carry significant responsibility in energy consumption. Finally, the role of governments, of course, comes in terms of regulation, developing laws that are essential to ensure that you exclude worst performing equipment and practices from the market, and to drive efficiency levels up. Information, people need to be empowered to know, to make more efficient choices in what they buy and how they use energy. Incentives, of course, is ensuring that we make efficient options more attractive and speed up upgrade and replacements to appliances, buildings, and vehicles.
Sorry to cut you off. We might have to round up quickly.
Yes. Just round up this case study. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, so this is a case study where this is an organization that has implemented some of these measures, institutionalizing energy management, having energy champions and having an overall energy performance strategy. And these are some of the milestones that have been reached. Of course, this is where I used to work as energy manager. And I got my award as a result of implementing some of the things mentioned. So I'm proudly talking about this as a case study because it's something that I implemented myself. This is one of the branches where you can see from the left, that was before anything was done. And then when we started implementing energy performance initiatives, then you can see the costs, energy costs monthly are going down as illustrated. And this is now the annual illustration. In conclusion, of course, for any organizations, you need to develop an energy performance strategy. The top management need to support it, through financial, human resources, and technology. You need to carry out an energy audit. You need to have an energy management policy in an energy management committee. You need to set clear objectives and targets. You need to measure and report results. And that will be the end of my presentation. And of course, if you want to contact me, those are my contacts. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Albert. So right now we have a poll, our second poll. So please, can everyone kindly fill the polls? The polls are being shared right now. Please, can everyone confirm that they can see a poll? If you can't, kindly mention in the comment section, in the chat section, if you can't see the poll. Please, can everyone fill the poll so we could go to our next speaker? We have just 13 people that have filled the poll so far. Please, can everyone kindly fill the poll?
Someone is saying that the polls are timed and disappear before you are done.
Oh, sorry about that. We'll look into that shortly. So while that is going on, because of time, let's not waste too much time on that. So we'll bring in our next speaker, who shall be speaking on power and waste industry, and shall be giving us insights from Industry 5.0. We have Michael Rada. Michael, like I said previously, is the inventor and developer of a waste prevention method called industrial upcycling. And Michael is based in Czech Republic. Hello, Michael. You have the floor.
Hello, thank you. And I will try to share my presentation. It's a pleasure to be with you, to be with you on the event. And I hope that everyone will enjoy the presentation, same as the presentation of the previous speakers. So I hope you've seen my screen, and let me begin. So we will speak about power industry in the age of Industry 5.0, connecting with the waste industry as well. As it was said, my name is Michael Rada. I am human, and at the same time, I'm the founder of Industry 5.0. And before I start or we continue, let me ask you two questions. The first question is who we are, because we have many titles. We are managers, president, chairmen. We are students, producers, teachers, fathers and mothers. We collect many titles during our life, but we forgot one, that we are human beings, living ones, not like this man on country art of Pilsen Brewery. And if we do realize who we are, let me ask you the second question. Where do we live? Because we live in beautiful cities like Roubaix, Pilsen, Paris, Brussels. We live in beautiful cities which we fill with trash. We work in factories which produce in one day more trash than a city in a month. We produce products which frequently become trash before reaching the end user, and we store them in big metal houses filled with air, calling for more big metal houses to be built to store our trash inside. At the end of our shift, we leave next to the output of our production, and we arrive home, and maybe we realize there that something what was called food before is called bio-waste today. And we look at the red sky above our head, asking ourselves, where do we live? I will answer this question and give you a little bit more. Let me introduce Industry 5.0 to you. Industry 5.0 is the first industrial evolution ever led by man, by human. It's built on the principles of systematic waste prevention, and it was launched on December 1st, 2015. Industry 5.0 recognizes and prevents 5 types of waste: physical, social, urban, process, and the wasting of time. And I apply its principles since 2013 already, and it helps to prevent more than 1 million metric tons of waste, of products to become waste. What is the existing reality? You know, when I look at the poll, I find out that I'm probably the oldest in the group, because I was born on December 24th, 1971. At the time, our planet was called Blue Marble. But in 2019, it was not blue anymore. It was covered with environmental damage. But 2 years later, something very strange happened. The blue face of our planet showed up again, not because we changed intentionally our behavior, because a virus locked us down. And you know what? We are living on a planet around which there is a global landfill on the orbit with more than 170 million pieces of space debris. This is what we created in few decades' time. We are living on a planet in which the only criteria of success is more money, more people, more companies, more cars, more houses, more wives, more husbands. Ask Fortune 500 members, ask the people who are sitting and discussing it in Davos today. More become the only criteria of success. We are living here together with 8 billion people, not knowing that 200 years ago it was just 1 billion. 100 years ago it was 1.5, and in 100 years, despite of 2 world wars, 2 world pandemics, we have 5-fold more people living on the planet, and in 2050 it should be 11 million people. And just now remember the last image I showed you. We are living on a planet in 206 countries according to UN 193. We are speaking 7,000 languages. We run 1 billion cars, and at the same time, we let 9 million people die hungry, despite the fact that every single day is being wasted more than 23 million metric tons of food. We are letting 800,000 people die thirsty every year, despite the fact that only California crude oil industry consumes every single day more than 347 million liters of drinking water. We are planting our food to throw it away because the leaves are not green enough for the buyers in a chain store. We put our overproduction in a rivers on a landfills not to spoil the market price. We carry our water in firefighting tanks, not knowing that the same amount of water is needed to produce just one and simple hamburger. And we do it on a planet on which one sip of water can save not 1, but 2 lives. We work in a factories which has walls lined with environmental certificates, and behind the wall, the same company creates a landfill. Companies store their obsolete packaging on the parking lots for employees, waiting till it becomes waste. We are wasting items which are not good for the consumer, for the client, but can serve well to hundreds and thousands of others. We are listening to the words of World Bank, which says that till 2050, the waste volume should grow. In some destinations like Sub-Saharan Africa, it should generally double. Despite the fact that almost everything can be reused or recycled. But in fact, less than 13.5% of everything what is being wasted is being recovered and recycled. This is what makes the waste industry the third most profitable industry in the world, following the war industry and the crude oil industry. And because of the troubles of the crude oil industry, it looks like that if we do not change the direction, that our world will be run by war and waste. But I promised to talk about power industry. You know, we are speaking about power industry as something new, but it's quite old. New is maybe the electricity, which was introduced 1882. But in fact, we are using the same as a few hundred years ago used the people before: fire, steam, water, wind. So what is the difference? The difference is that before we use the power locally, but with electricity, we use it globally or nationwide. But what is the connection between power and waste? You know, to get a power, we have to extract a lot of resources, which results in a lot of waste. In fact, I was expecting the previous speaker to speak about the reduction of the waste, but in fact, it was not mentioned, and I'm very sorry about it, because only during the transmission, up to 50% and even more of electricity between the power station and your switch at home is getting lost. We are going into the energy consumption, and I can tell you that no matter how many power stations we will create, if we do not change our behavior in reducing our consumption, it will not be enough. There is a lot of build all over the globe, billions of lattices and power towers. And what happened? We do not change the way how we are behaving. I don't know how many of you know that the first power station was created in 1927. In 2019, there was 2,425 of those all around the globe. Our consumption, so as the damage of the environment is growing, and this is the number of current nuclear power stations all around the world. The plans has been to reduce them. So we invest billions in building something which we will reduce in few years' time. The electricity consumption is growing globally because we are pushed to digitalization and to everything what is connected to power and to data. We speak about new power, renewable energy, but is it really new? We are speaking about burning biomass, but it was done 7,000 years ago because the people need to be, not to be cold. What changes the transmission and the electricity? The renewable uses the energy is changing, and we are starting to consider to go local again in so-called island systems. Because if we become strong locally, we can support globally. And we have to consider the power storage as a very important thing. What is not being done correctly is the harmonization and on-demand production. So the power industry, in the age of Industry 5.0, how does it look? We will extend the functionality of the existing power network and segments, and I will show you how to. We will work on deep planning and harmonization of production and consumption. Increased coverage must be done with minimum investment, and we have to share the technology. We should decrease our dependency on dirty fuels, on a single-use addiction, and we have to balance the system. We have to create new from existing, and we have to end the life of systematic utilization. Generally, this is wind turbine. Maybe you never see it because it's not so financially interesting for the players who are in the industry. You know, we have built our future on the top of a pyramid, thinking that on the top of a pyramid, a future can be built, but we did not realize that the pyramid has not been built for the living ones to live inside, but to store the corpses inside. So I realized a decade ago, and I started to create another ground stone. more stable one, a groundstone on which our future can be built. It's called 6R. And let me show you how does it work. Firstly, you have to recognize that something must not become waste. And trust me, that's not an easy task if you wasted before. But the second step is even harder because you have to reconsider what you will do with it. And trust me, before the third step is realized, you will fail for the first, second, third time. But in the moment when you succeed, you will start to change the world because you will realize what you did and how to transfer it in a power and in a waste industry. So you have to follow the same steps. Firstly, you have to recognize that you have something which is there, but is used just as a single purpose item. And there are billions of those all around the globe. The highest electricity tower is 2 meters lower than the Eiffel Tower. Then you have to reconsider what to do with it. And you have to combine. We have calculated that if you put a wind turbine in every 1,000th tower, we can create so much electricity as 26 nuclear power stations with a cost of 1. But that's not all. We are speaking here about incarnation, and there was a mention before. So what is incarnation planned? You take something what is called production surplus, you turn it into waste and you burn it, and you generate heat and power, and you generate emissions as well, not to forget about it. And is it all what we can do? No, trust me, it's not. Because if you turn the waste, and many types of waste can be turned, or production surplus can be turned into the usable thing, into the biochar. This is the result. Because instead of generating more waste, you will generate something which will help your soil, which will clean your water, which can be used for making the medicines, which can be used even for material production. We just have to use what we have. I was asked many times, Mr. Rada, is there any value of systematic waste prevention in the world? We spent 5 years to calculate this number. 475 trillion US dollars has been the value of global systematic waste prevention in 2019. This is the value per year. But I'm sorry, the number is no more valid. It's much higher. Because not a single bullet in a war in Ukraine can be recovered. Same as a human life. You know, I have spent 8 years to write a document which was never written in a human history. It's a waste prevention policy. And why I spend so much time? Because you can apply it in anything, any environment, anywhere in the world. Because it is important to understand that there is no waste if we do not waste. And trust me or not a single legislation in the world has defined how waste is being created, the process of wasting. So it must be part of the legislation. And again, understand that wasting is not a feature of a product or material, but it's a result of human behavior. There are 5 waste categories which Industry 5.0 prevents to happen. And the last one added last year is very special. Because
sorry, Michael.
1 minute, I have 1 minute.
Okay, because you have like 5 more minutes. So
it will be less, it will be less. Because not a single second wasted will be recovered. So Industry 5.0 is the industrial evolution ever led by man, by human. It's new mindset of people and businesses from wasteful to wasteless. It delivers results without need of capital investment. It's based on the principles of systematic waste prevention, and it utilizes the on-the-ground mines. And it's based on transparency, profit sharing, and efficiency. And please understand, Industry 5.0 is not a sales tool or a buzzword, but it's a future of all of us. You know, we are living in the times of digitalization, our work. Our children live in the times of digitalization of the education, and every single one of us, the leisure time of ours has been digitalized long time ago. So it looks like that the only thing which needs to be digitalized is the human itself. But if we do so, our home will look like this. That's not a mistake, because data don't need any light. I realized that more than a decade ago, and I decided I do not want to live on a bottom of a black hole, and I started to build wasteless war instead. And don't worry, I'm not alone. My name is Michael Rada. I am a human, and I am leading a network of 111 people, which are keeping the gates to wasteless war in 111 countries already, reaching 99% of global population. And before I end, which is just now the last sentence, I would like to ask you to decide in which world you would like to live. And let me wish you, let your time be free of waste and wasting in all its forms. Stay safe and free. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Michael. That was a beautiful presentation. I'm sure you'd have a ton of questions during the questions and answers. So because of time, I think we'll go to the next presenter, who will be speaking on opportunities to valorize urban waste in African cities. And we have Dr. Gamuchira Mutezo, who is the founder of Madam Waste in South Africa. Hello, Doctor. Good afternoon.
Sorry, before Doctor takes the stage, we understand that some people could not respond to the poll. So you have the opportunity now to quickly respond to the poll before we take Dr. Gamu's presentation, please.
Is a timer on the poll? Can the timer be put off?
Okay. No,
yes.
Just I understand it was because of the sharing of screens that was going on during the polling session that caused it to go off. So I think we just take 2-3 minutes to answer that before we move. So again, you see to access the poll, you see the dashboard, the Zoom dashboard, you see poll. Just click on it. You have access to it and answer. Thank you, Aisha, to say she's done. We have 9 respondents so far. Quick. Thank you. Done is done. Done, Gaetano is done. Yeah, let's move on. Peace Obeten is done also.
So just to say a few things on the poll. So good. I was about to say something. The poll questions. The first question is, how do you dispose of your household waste? A lot of households in Nigeria stick to open burning. And honestly, sometimes you really can't blame them, because the problem it goes beyond, I think the major problem is sensitization. They don't know the dangers of burning these things. So there has to be a lot of infrastructure going into sensitization and education in order to change, consumer behavior. That was the first thing I said during my own presentation, that's one of the things that we at Pato Enterprise are focusing on, how to change behavioral patterns in our community. Because if the community that we are saying all of this for are not, reacting positively to whatever we are saying here, it's pointless. No matter how much you shout, reduce, reuse, we are just saying these things to ourselves. So one of the things I would like each and every one of us to do is, there are a lot of energy companies, recycling companies, and all of that, yeah. We should also focus on sensitization and how to change behavioral patterns because we need, like Michael said, I'm a human. So you ask yourself, as a human, what have I done personally to impact behavioral change in my small community? It doesn't have to be your entire estate. You can start small from your household. From my household, my neighbor, my family. And with time, the spider web builds up. So is everyone done with the poll?
I think so. So maybe we just move to doctor's presentation.
So hello, Dr. Gamuchuria. I think you have the floor.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. I trust you're all well.
Good afternoon, Doctor.
Going to switch on my...
Yes, okay, yes, we can see you now.
Okay, so to give you a heads up before we start, there's currently a surge of power outages in South Africa. So we are going through what you call load shedding. And in certain cases, you find yourself in one location and you're within the load shedding schedule, which means you have 2 to 4 hours of electricity. If you move somewhere else, a different schedule kicks in. So if I do go offline, it means power is out and no Wi-Fi connectivity. I will try my level best to connect, and probably it might be through my phone.
All right, then. Thank you so much for the heads up.
Yes, those are the realities of
most African
probably
countries.
Yeah, why we are probably having such conversations, so that in generations to come, our great-grandchildren can say, hey, this is where it started, by turning some of this organic waste into a form of energy. Please permit me to just keep my video off to also allow for mobile data to connect without glitches. And then I'll switch it on again once I've taken you through the presentation.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Right. Great. Once again, delighted to be here. I am Dr. Gamuchuria Mtezo, and today I will be taking you through the opportunities to valorize urban waste in African cities, focusing specifically on organic fraction. The reason being, this is what I live and breathe. I'm very passionate about urban waste management and valorizing it in our cities, because on a regular basis, you'll find one form of research or another saying Africa's the next best thing after sliced bread, but it's riddled with all of these environmental challenges. So with that being said, let me get my cursor going.
Yeah, it's moving.
There we go. So with that being said, I'm going to start off by setting the scene for you, looking at aspects of urbanization, waste, and energy within our African cities. And then we'll look at what are some of the opportunities we can explore, especially in terms of the valorization. It's important for us to have this conversation so that we no longer look at waste as the traditional definition waste, but we look at it as a resource or feedstock into something else. And this is where impact meets circularity. Some of you may be aware, if not have a basic understanding of this thing called circular economy, which allows us to equally look at the business model of making money while you are having a positive impact on society and the environment, and how all of these 3 key points culminates to the work that we do. And then finally, depending on how time is kind, have an open cards discussion in terms of how this might make sense in one city versus another city, and most importantly, the mindset shift for us to realize those opportunities and the impact. Where is our mindset currently based? Now, these are just excerpts from my doctoral study. I'm a town planner by training. I specialized, though, in organic waste management and waste to energy. This was at master's level. at the University of Cape Town. So we were in a class that had 80% engineers. Most of the conversation was quite technical when you talk about renewable energy. And this wonderful subcategory of waste to energy kept popping up. And I found it fascinating that you could churn different types of waste material into some form of energy, being biogas, compost / digestate, heat, and the whole 9 yards. But at the same time, I noted that there were some gaps. And those gaps were because we're operating in silos as urban planners, as waste management practitioners, as well as renewable energy engineers. And in setting this tone, a lot of experience through entrepreneurship, through academia, made it quite evident that indeed we have quite a bit of a journey to go. And that journey means we need to firstly understand the environment in which we're working on. So, as I mentioned earlier, urbanization is the next best thing after sliced bread on this continent. Most cities are reporting high rates of urban sprawl, and majority of the time, the planning practices are not always able to meet this, right? At the rate that the world is going, we are probably going to be 10.9 billion by the year 2100. Of that, Sub-Saharan Africa, we will certainly be leading the conversation. To an extent, we do see this in reality when we travel across African cities, that the numbers keep getting bigger and bigger in our cities, and probably debatable in our peri-urban as well as rural areas. It's important for us to note this, such that when you start talking about the ways in which we understand waste generation as well as energy demand, we appreciate the premise. It's also important to acknowledge that in these numbers, city planning, being intentional about it, whether it becomes formal or informal, does have an impact on how we manage our waste as well as the energy demand. So once one understood the urbanization and population growth that were forecasted, it was then a matter of equally understanding the total municipal solid waste, just as an example, generation within the next few years, namely 2025. And what we see here, based on what the United Nations Environmental Programme assumed, I'm saying assumed because we already have challenges around waste collection and data collection. So we use certain methods and approaches to predetermine and forecast what these numbers might look like. This is where we started in 2012. As you can see, countries such as South Africa, Nigeria, Ethiopia, Sudan, we were generating waste. And by the way, majority of our waste is believed to be organic. And we can, again, also see this in our cities, that the type of waste that we will find is biodegradable. However, over the past few years, we've also seen a large increase of the plastic material, e-waste, metal waste, and the whole 9 yards. Nonetheless, in the next few years, literally few years, we see that the increase becomes a tad bit darker in certain cities. Now, this raises a critical question. How best do we manage the waste, especially if a minimum of 60% is the organic fraction? Okay. While all of this is taking place, the organic planning and the waste proliferation, we equally have a demand for energy. Again, a number of reports still indicate that more than 600 million inhabitants of this continent do not have access to a stable and sustainable supply of electricity. If it is not infrastructure problems, you've got the operation and maintenance component, or just basically the political aspect, and in some cases, the inappropriate technologies being used. So with this scene being set, it's then a question of being intentional to plan our cities in a way where we consider waste management and most importantly, how that can be converted into some type of energy. The type of energy is debatable depending on various socioeconomic as well as environmental parameters of that given space. And it's important for us to be intentional because cities are innovation hubs. Cities are creative hubs, and you want to give a platform for us to investigate creative and innovative ways of driving a national action plan to ensure we have a different story to tell. We're not always painting a doomy, gloomy perspective of our city. The opportunities are quite exciting. Yes, we've got challenges. It's a fact. That is life. There will always be challenges in addressing certain elements. But what was quite imperative is that there's a need for us to be intentional and include what we call urban energy planning, which means renewable energies from biomass, solar, wind, different scales, of course, can be incorporated into our cities. They can be decentralized. In this particular case, for example, where I'm at right now, if there were decentralized systems of solar farms, I would not be having the challenge of rushing through my presentation so that I am not experiencing low battery, right? The case of biogas itself, an interesting article I read indicated that AD is quite an important element to consider, especially in developing regions, because it also induces a circular economy. Now, when that is starting to be a key topic of discussion, especially amongst decision makers, it means you as an engineer, I as a waste management practitioner, and Tom as an urban planner, we get to the stage of intentionally planning for those aspects. So the opportunities are, yes, there's actually a need for urban energy planning, decentralized systems, whichever source you may use, right? All of this is underpinned by principles of circular economy, because there really isn't a component of waste in its traditional sense. Because we are maximizing on this organic fraction, the concept of circular economy then comes into play. I would like to find out, with your guidance, of course, Babatunde, how many people actually know what circular economy is? If you could just raise your hand, and Babatunde will look at the screen to give me more or less a guesstimation of the knowledge, I'll appreciate it.
So far we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 6 people so far.
Awesome. Out of a room with plus minus 40 odd participants, eh?
44.
But well, I was counting, I was excluding the panelists as well, but yes, fine. 44.
So we have 6 people right now.
Yes.
So we have 7.
All right.
We have 7 right now.
Okay. Perfect.
8.
Thank you for that.
We have 8. I think we have 9. Numbers are increasing.
Okay, this is encouraging. Maybe some people are quickly Googling it and checking out a 6-minute video. But as the numbers come in, the circular economy is nothing new under the sun. It's just that over the past 10 odd years, it's been garnering a lot of publicity and excitement because a lot of research has come out of it, being intentional to look at the principles, the impact, and so forth. So what we tend to be comfortable with is what we call a linear economy, where you take, make, and dispose. It's literally just a straight line from point A to point B. You don't look as the disposed item being a resource into something else. So one of the most popular images that you may come across when you talk about circularity is this image developed by the Ellen MacArthur Foundation based in the United Kingdom. And they're just aiming to illustrate what does circularity look like from a biological as well as a technological component. Biological, I have touched on it to some extent where you look at organic waste components, right, that end up producing different types of energy from biogas and a variety of biochemical feedstock, the digestate, which might end up being used back into the farming activities, and it just circulates within the system. And along these systems, there are what we call circular business models. So if one is exposed to principles of entrepreneurship, it becomes an exciting space to start investigating where within these value chains can you play a role while you have a positive impact on the environment. The technical side is quite interesting. Some of us may be more privy to this, where you talk about recycling, upcycling, reducing, reusing, and it tends to talk primarily to the manufacturing space where you redesign, where you can utilize construction and demolition waste for base material in new buildings. And there's a whole lot that takes place in this space. Some interesting example as well is what people call thrift shops, right? Buying secondhand clothes. At some point, it was not fancy, but nowadays it is in recycling your clothing. You don't want to sell it to someone else or take it to a store where it's refurbished and Bob's your uncle. One of the stores that has been doing that across the board is H&M with their denim products. So as I'm talking, you'll note there are writings on the side. I'm not reading them out loud. I would like you to listen to me as well as take in the content and put the both the verbal and the word together to complement one another. So circular economy within waste management is becoming more and more evident and realistic. And it's like, if we start being intentional and seeing waste as a feedstock and a resource for something else, we can actually decentralize these models. And that's where a model of this nature could be used in an urban environment, in an urban setting. Whether you're in Kumasi, you're in Mombasa, you're in Harare, the principle is captured in all of this. Nothing goes to waste.
Sorry,
Vehicle,
Doc.
yes?
Sorry, Doc. Can you?
Yes.
Are we going to wrap up in the next 5 minutes?
All right, I'll fly through.
All right.
Thank you for the heads up. Yeah, thank you for the heads up. In essence, the circular economy can improve how we manage our waste so that we valorize the waste into other products, and that creates opportunities for other industries. So it's because of all of this culmination, as I mentioned, of entrepreneurial experience as well as academia that Madam Waste was born. And this month we celebrate 6 years of existence, and we see ourselves as advocates who wish to decentralize clean energy access, maximizing on organic waste. So there's an element of strategic consulting, working with public sector and private sector to intentionally start planning in these systems and processes and not wait for a new development to come up and then try to figure out, oh guys, about that solar plant, where do we put it? About that material recycling facility, where will it fit? You end up having these systems situated outside of towns and cities. Design thinking workshops to focus on mindset shift. We found in the past, especially after roasting our fingers, that if we bring this on the table, you will not make a decision because you're not understanding it. You're not comfortable with it. You'll probably just consider it as, well, it's a feel-good project. But when you can appreciate how it all links together, the impact it has on the social, environmental, and business component, there's a better acceptance of intentional planning from the beginning. The green events is collecting organic food waste from events. And of course, the technology design, where in certain areas that require customized biogas systems, it's all supported by these elements. So a case study of one of the projects we have is a farm owner. They have a variety of farming activities, but it's not enough to produce the type of energy they want, which is primarily the biogas itself, right? So there's additional feedstock that has to come in and co-digested. So there's heat, there's the biogas, and there's the digestate. If they didn't need additional feedstock, that would be out of the play. With the digestate itself, it's used on-site as is, back into the farming activities, or utilized for vermiculture, which is then packaged on-site. Again, depending on the type of crop they have, either the digestate in its raw form or the vermicompost would be utilized, and of course the external markets. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is what we have experienced over the past few years to say there are opportunities for us to valorize organic waste management, especially when we talk about it from a circular economy perspective. There's always an opportunity to hear some background noise, but nonetheless, there's always an opportunity to identify new business out of this smelly thing called waste. Okay, there you go, Babatunde. I hope I had 2 seconds to spare.
Yeah, you did it. Your presentation was quite interesting. Even though I apologize that we had to rush you, but there was a lot that that was learned from it, even as brief as it was. So right now, I think we're going to the question and answer section, where we have people who want to ask questions. So I'm going to the chat to see questions, or preferably, if you'd like to ask a question, you could just raise your hand and we'll let you ask your question.
I see Lot has their hand up.
I can see Aisha too, Ella. Aisha too has a question to ask.
Okay, so we'll start with Lot and then Aisha.
No, Lot had his hands up since.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Sorry. So Aisha too.
Okay. Good afternoon. My name is Aisha Ella John from Clean Technology Hub. So my question is from Gideon Fakolode. I hope I got that name right. Does this waste to wealth does this your system, does it only apply to Lagos, or is it?
Okay, thank you very much. So currently, recyclers on our network, on our platform, currently we have 2 in Lagos, 1 in Agege and 1 in Agidingbi in Ikeja. So we are open to collaboration. Please, if you would like us to work with you in your geography where you are currently, we are open. I will drop our communication on the link you can reach me on. We can connect over LinkedIn, or you can contact us on any of our lines or WhatsApp. I'll put it in the chat. We'll be happy to work with you anywhere in Africa. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Gideon. Speaking about Gideon, you don't have just one question. So when you say partnerships with recyclers, just to enlighten a bit, now there are different sections of recyclers. There are the collection guys, and they are the guys who process, either by baling or crushing, pelletizing, or whatever they do.
Hello?
Can you hear me, Gideon?
Okay, I lost you for a few seconds. Can you say that again,
Okay.
please?
So now, when you say you work with recycling guys, just to enlighten everyone here, and just to get my question to you, recycling, there are different sections of recycling. There are the collectors, there are the guys who process, either by baling, crushing, pelletizing, and all sorts. Now, do you charge the same fee for collectors and for the guys who process? For instance, I crush. So will you charge me the same fee for someone who just collects? That's my question to you.
Okay, thank you very much for your question, Mr. Benjamin, right? Mr. Babatunde Sonny, yeah, sorry. Mr. Babatunde Sonny, so our platform is a platform that makes recycling easy for both small scale and large scale recyclers. So
Okay.
the unit economics I showed you that time, that is unit economics, right? So the cost is based on per kilogram. So if you're a small scale recycler, obviously your volume will not be as high as somebody who is doing large scale recycling. So that means you won't be paying as much as that person. But the rate per kg is the same in the sense that, for example, somebody doing 1 ton every day, right, compared to somebody doing 500 kilogram every day, compared to somebody doing 2 tons every day. Of course, the number of tonnage or the number of kilogram multiplied by the rate is what the eventual platform service is going to be. But however, it's important to note that the platform, everybody is welcome on the platform. Small scale recyclers and large scale recyclers. I hope I've been able to answer your question.
Yeah, thank you for that. So, does anyone else have a question? Can you just raise your hand up and you would have the floor to speak? Does anyone have a question? So we can round up. We want to round up before 2:15. So Yusuf, I think Yusuf's sound is up. So Yusuf, you can unmute yourself and ask your question.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, I really enjoyed following the session. I'm actually interested in the waste to energy initiative. At the moment, actually, I'm working on a model that I set up, and I'm using pyrolysis to see how I can channel the waste collection I have around me to pyro oils. So, but I don't know, doctor, is there, I don't know if there is like a simplified model that gives it a very simple direction, because what I have in my head is having a recycling system that is not just sustainable, but it's going to mitigate a lot of climate change problems, because the climate change issue is all about what it's in the ground now. So I am conceptualizing the idea of building a model that is going to see how we can have it, the waste to wealth, having in quotes that circular economy model still in the picture, then looking at how sustainable that could be without and also mitigating climate change issues with what we're having. So I don't know, do we have any guide and model towards that? Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Yusuf. Sorry, doctor, the question was directed to you.
I'm not sure doctor is still on the call. I think the power situations we talked about must have
affected.
Yeah. She said she'll join with a mobile, but I've not seen her on the participant list. So I think Lot, what you do, we'll share her contact with you, so you could reach her directly and get the feedback you need.
Sorry, Anthony, and a lot of people have asked how they could get the presentation.
Thank you very much. Yeah, the presentations, actually, I would be glad if we could have them, because seriously, I missed out on some because I was multitasking during the sessions. Sorry. Thank you.
Okay, for the I don't know, since there are no other questions, we could just do the closing session now, if I may. Okay, so I'm going to address the presentation part. This event is live. It's recorded live on YouTube. So directly, this is just part of it anyway. You can get the recording there. You can have access to all the presentations, but the only challenge there is that you won't have it as a, how do I put it now? You won't have it as a a document you can flip through, but you can always see all the presentation if you play back the video. But that being said, I'll speak with all the speakers and ask them if it's something we can have and send in their presentations, and we'll share it with everybody.
Okay, please link to the YouTube, please. I can't find it. Thank you very much.
Okay, if you just type TONIPASH Energy on YouTube, you have it will take you to our page. I'm not sure there is any other TONIPASH Energy on YouTube at the last time I checked anyway. But I'll try and share the
Please
link.
do. Please do. It makes it easy. It makes it easy. Just
all right,
so that from here we just link up. Thank you very much.
Okay, I'm sending it across now.
So closing remarks, because personally I have to go. So
Yeah.
I would give just my closing remarks. Thank everyone for joining. It was a very, very beautiful session. I think all our speakers were very, very insightful. I enjoyed every session. I enjoyed listening to people in my field. Unfortunately, there wasn't more time. I would have loved to grill everyone, because that's what I do till I get kicked out of the session. Grill everyone and pick their brains and stuff. So it was nice having this, and there is another session happening February. I think February. I'm very looking at February.
Yeah. So okay, if I may, in February we'll be discussing hydrogen development in Africa. We look at the challenges, the prospects, and the opportunities that abound in the sector. So we call on everybody. We've already, the list of the speakers are also as interesting as the one we've had here, experts in the field and organizations who are trying to mobilize resources to make this happen. I tell people that in Africa, we do the mistake of thinking the world is waiting for us, but the world is actually not waiting for us. It's either we are moving with the world or we are back to this same challenge that we are facing currently, where we will keep on telling ourselves, we didn't contribute to this, we didn't contribute to this. Now that the world is moving, let us all come together and move with the world, and maybe reduce the victim narrative that is more common to Africa. So I want to, on this note, thank the panelists. Okay, sorry, before we go, can we all just put on our videos so that we can just have a screenshot? Thank you very much. Just videos. Thank you. I see Collins, I see Sadiq, I see Sukanya, Boreas, Taylor, Benjamin, Peace, Omo, Yusuf, Albert, Ahmed, I see Rashidat, I see Gideon, I see Chitiba Boo, I see Azizwe, I see Dr. Mutezu there. Okay, thank you. You can just wave and so that, yeah. So the recordings and the videos will be shared across all participants. And if you are willing to take a certificate from here, we'll also share you a link where you can register for or fill in your details so that we can send you a certificate. And as we go off now, a chart will come up, a survey will come up where we'll just look at the activities around our today, try to see how far it has gone. So this is the flyer, the e-flyer for the next event, Hydrogen Development in Africa, Opportunities, Challenges, and Prospects. And also for TONIPASH Energy, this is the services that is being offered: energy systems design, clean cooking solutions, energy planning, and decentralized renewable energy development. So we are open to partnership. Any way you want to support us, we are open, and even to support the TONIPASH Sustainable Energy Talk for us to continue airing, we are also open to that. That being said, I want to thank panelists so much, led by the moderator, Babatunde, and also Omo Alokwe, Dr. Gamuchirai, Benjamin, Gideon, and of course, Albert and Michael. Yeah. So I don't know, we will call it a day here. Please remember to fill in the survey that will be popping up immediately after we close this session. We can be reached using our social media handles, and also I think our phone numbers are in some of the flyers we've shared. So you've reached us anywhere or for any reason. If you need to contact the panelists and they are not responding, just talk to me. I will I will use my veto power to make them respond to your concerns. Thank you, and do have a lovely rest of your weekend. Thanks and bye.